Welcome everyone to the Healthcare and Social Assistance Virtual Career Fair during the St. Cloud Career Week. We have 6 employers here today, and we welcome everybody to join us in the Q&A with any of your questions. The employers that are with us today will be able to see your questions and answer you back. We will also announce some of those questions. The employers that we have today will all be within healthcare and social assistance, but we have some other events this week with construction and trades, business, finance, and IT. So if you know anybody interested in those, we'll have those tomorrow, Thursday the 24th. So please go ahead and join us then as well. You will need to register for each event separately. And if you have any questions, go ahead and give us a call at our main line or go to careerforcemn.com/Saint Cloud. And that's how you will learn more about the events, the times, and how to register. So first today we will talk with Rhiannon from Meduit, then we'll go on to Catholic Charities, Bridges MN, Home Instead, Manzel, and then we'll end with Ebenezer. And so if you're ready, Rhiannon with Meduit, you're up first.
Great, thanks Marnie. Good afternoon everyone, happy to be here. My name is Rihanna. I work at Meduit Health Services in Sartell. I'm the senior HR generalist here. I've been here since the beginning of this year. Our company, I'll tell you a little bit about what we do. We are hiring for full-time day shift positions. That's all we have since we support hospitals and clinics. We're just Monday through Friday, basically 8 to 5, various shifts in those hours. Our positions are for customer service specialists, medical billing specialists, and scheduling specialists. So Meduit is located, next slide please. Meduit is located across the United States. We have, I think, about 9 or so offices, and we just acquired one in Brea, California with about 400 employees, so we are growing. A lot of times I do get the question, can you move throughout Meduit's locations? And you absolutely can. That's a really nice thing. We had a gal working in Waco and she got promoted to a job in California. We're located in Minnesota, Chicago, Indianapolis, Indiana, Michigan, Charlotte, New Hampshire, and then again here in Sartell we have a campus of 2 buildings, a little over 200 employees. We do offer work from home positions, which are pretty sought after right now, especially with COVID. You are able to work from home scheduling. So we do some of the stuff that we do at Meduit. If you can picture being in the business office, the extended business office or billing office for a hospital or clinic, that is literally us here located in a call center in Sartell. So when the clinic turns their phones on, that would be you answering for like providers such as Health Partners, St. Luke's, United Health Group, things like that. So we do scheduling. We have a scheduling position that literally just takes incoming calls to schedule an appointment for your provider. So when you call your doctor to get in to see them, you would be reaching us to schedule that appointment, so we get all your information, verify that it's you, things like that. We also do pre-authorization, registration, coding, claims, billing, and our customer service position is very patient focused. So we would take incoming calls, maybe make outgoing calls. We're really patient focused as far as helping patients to pay their bill or assist in paying their bill, whether it's a payment plan, financial assistance, taking the payment over the phone, taking insurance, things like that. So our employees really like being able to build relationships with the patients, and then our medical billing does a little bit more research. So those are the positions that we have at Meduit. Next slide. This next slide is really just, I think it's the one, do you have the, oh, maybe the leadership one got taken out. I had a leadership slide before just because simply a lot of our employees have been here for quite a number of years. Our VP of Operations has been here for about 32 years. Our Director of Ops has been here about 20 years. So it just goes to show that once you start here, there's a lot of room for growth and advancement opportunities. Meduit does offer you benefits following 60 days to the first of the month, and that's your a la carte health, medical, dental, vision, life, 401k. We go through Voya for our 401k. One of the really nice things about our 401k is that you are vested after your first year. So if you know what vested means, that's basically your money. You don't have a waiting period. A lot of times companies will have 3 to 5 years before you can become vested. So once you would leave, that money is yours to take, and that's our match. So Meduit matches 100% on 4%. We have different paydays here. We get paid semi-monthly, the 10th and the 25th. So you can always count on a check on those days. We offer holiday pay and PTO. And I think that's about it for me.
All right, thanks, Rhiannon. I was wondering, what is the training like when you go into a new position at Meduit?
Sure. So the training is pretty intense. We do invest a lot of time and energy into the training. It's roughly about 2 weeks of classroom training, just on revenue cycle as well as insurance. So it's really a career position. It's somewhere, if you want a long-term career with growth opportunities and to learn a lot, this is the position, just because you learn all types of insurances, caveats of insurance, billing, your explanation of benefits, so you can explain that to the patient. And then we also do shadowing after that, where you sit side by side and kind of watch someone take and make those calls. And then shortly thereafter, you will be on the phone yourself, but you're never alone. We believe in continuous improvement, moving up, getting incentives, making more money, and you can always request additional training.
Great, thank you. That shadowing sounds amazing.
Cool.
It's good for transitioning into your new role. All right, I don't see any other questions at this time. So we are going to move on with Catholic Charities and Crystal.
Hello, I'm Crystal Rowland with Catholic Charities. I'm an HR generalist there. I started in February of this past year. So I was in the office just a few weeks before COVID kind of took over and changed our lives a little bit. Catholic Charities is a nonprofit organization. We are located in 16 counties. We serve 16 counties in central Minnesota. We've served 53,493 people last year. We have over 2,000 volunteers, close to 400 employees, and we have 30 different programs that we offer, including our emergency food shelf located in our Roosevelt location in St. Cloud. We have a social concerns department that helps connect communities together, including rural development, refugee communities. We also have 9 group homes located in Paynesville, Cold Spring, and St. Cloud area. We have in-home services where we have employees go into clients' homes who have some disabilities and help them with their cares. We have admin positions, behavioral health clinics. We have our Hope in our Roosevelt location that helps connect individuals with mental illness, connect in group settings and things like that. We have day treatments for adolescents at our Elk River location and St. Cloud location, Young Learners Program. So many, many different programs to choose from. Today, I'd like to focus on, if you move to the next slide, we have a need to fill direct support professional positions. We have several positions open in our 9 group homes and our in-home services. These positions offer part-time, full-time opportunities, flexible scheduling. Again, they're located in Cold Spring, St. Cloud, Painesville. During the pandemic, they are considered essential employment, caring for clients in either our group homes or in their home, as I said. Starting pay for these positions are $12.40 an hour. Of course, actual pay is calculated based on experience that you bring in and education. We have benefits that start at 20 hours per week, and then at 35 hours per week would go up to our full-time benefits. The difference is just the cost that you would pay. This includes paid time off. So if a full-time employee can earn up to 17 days off per year. We have 8 holidays, 7 full holidays, 2 half holidays that are paid. We also offer extended paid leave for things like funeral or bereavement leave and sick time. Many other great benefits, including a waive-off credit if you have insurance through another group health provider. So that would add extra money to your check per month. We also, besides these, as I said, we have 30 other programs, many other opportunities available. The full list is on our Catholic Charities website. And applications can be submitted through that website, or they can also be sent directly to me as well. I see a question here that says, are you paid for travel? So in our in-home program, there's a travel pay that is a little bit less than the $12.40, but that would be if you are driving, if you're driving for errands for a client, so you don't have the client with you. So let's say you're just running to the grocery store or to the pharmacy to pick up something for a client to bring back to their home, but they're not with you, you get paid that drive time. If the question is in regards to travel time between homes, if you work at multiple homes, which some people do, and you start at one home and you are going to a different one to work in the middle of the day, you would be paid for that drive time. That question's a little tricky to answer because some of the travel time pay is based on IRS regulations as well. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Crystal, for taking that question there.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's so many different facets of Catholic Charities. Is it common for people to start in one area or one building, one department, and move throughout?
Absolutely, and we love to see that. We love to see someone start out maybe in a direct support professional position and then, you know, move forward as a house supervisor, or maybe they go on. We have a lot of people that go on. They might start as an intern and then go on to work as a mental health practitioner or something like that. So we really like to promote growth within our organization.
Great. Looks like we have one more question for you. Is there an overnight pay bump?
We have a weekend pay bonus, which is $1 an hour more to work weekends. And we also have positions, if you see on our website, that are called float positions. So those would be the positions that there's a little bit of a requirement for how many hours you pick up, but the float would be you would fill in at any house. those positions get an extra $1 an hour as well. And what I didn't go over is that our homes are different. The clients in the homes have different levels of care. So when someone is hired, they're set a wage for each level of home. So base is that $12.40. But if you work at a home like our St. Francis, where the clients need more care, your wage would reflect that.
Great, great. That's good information for everybody out there. All right, it looks like we will go on to our next employer. So thank you, Crystal.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, and it looks like next up we have Muna and Maria from Bridges MN.
Muna, you'll need to hit *69 to unmute your line.
Hi, it's Muna from Bridges MN. I'm the HR generalist here in St. Cloud, Minnesota.
I'm Jennifer Toussaint. I'm also the HR generalist in Central Minnesota.
So,
welcome to both of you.
Thank you. So Bridges is, we are actually a fairly new company. We're about 5 years old, and we serve some of our most challenging individuals with disabilities. Here in St. Cloud, we have 16 homes, and our client base is, the level of care varies. So we have clients that are very high functioning and independent, that just need kind of navigation throughout the community. And then we have clients that really need that extra support for day-to-day activities, whether that's bathing, helping them in the bathroom. So we do have a range of clients that we do support here in our region. We are looking for direct support professionals, and basically those are really like dealing with the clients on a day-to-day basis. Our mission here at Bridges is really just helping individuals with disabilities achieve goals that will empower them to live their most independent lives. All our clients, we're trying to give them purposeful days. For them, a small goal could be like, hey, I want to put on my clothes today by myself. You and I think that's, that's, oh my God, that's just a small goal, but for them, it could be a really big goal. And it's all of our job here at Bridges to support and, make sure that they're reaching their goals. Like I said, we are hiring the direct support professional. The range for the pay on that is 14 to 16, just depending on the shift in the home. We are also hiring a residential supervisor. They really kind of run the home, and they also, do scheduling and really kind of connect the team. So the case manager, guardian, and really do scheduling and things like that. We also have weekend direct support professionals, and the range on that is about 15 to 17, just depending on the home and the level of behaviors. And then we have our weekend response team, which is, part of our response team. And that's really kind of, supporting those houses where, you get a crisis and, you're on the weekend response team, and you go over there and you kind of de-escalate and help support the employees and the residents, and that's 16 an hour. We also have a really lovely program called Roomy. It's really kind of a innovative way, kind of thinking outside the box. I'm not sure if many of you are familiar with a lot of the clients that we serve. Many of them have been in, the adult foster care system, maybe all their life. And many times, unfortunately, they don't get to choose where they live, depending on what type of waiver they're on and et cetera. A lot of times, that they don't have that choice. This program that we created is called Roomy, and that kind of takes them back and gives them that power of, choosing who their roommate is, making those important decisions. So basically how it kind of works is, let's say I'm an individual that is receiving services. I would go on our website, and I would put on, 30-year-old female, wheelchair bound, would prefer 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. I would like services for 30 hours. And then Jennifer here, my colleague, would go on there, and she's a direct support professional. She would say, looking for, you know, a roommate, about 20 to 30 hours. And she would list off her skills, and then there's a matching system. So then her and I would match, and then the Bridges team would facilitate a meeting. And if it's a good fit for both of us, they would go ahead and look for a suitable, you know, apartment for us, a living situation. And then it's kind of a win-win for both. So she's actually going to be living rent-free and also getting paid. And for me, as a resident, a client, I got to choose who my roommate is, and I'm getting services. So it's a really kind of unique way. I do suggest, like, for families, let's say let's say you have, you know, a young autistic child, or, you know, your child is, you know, 18 years old and autistic and needs still some of that support. Sometimes families don't feel comfortable putting in, you know, their child in homes. This is a really creative way where you can actually have your family members be roomies. So they'll live with the client and provide services, but still have that family connection. So it's a really, really unique way, and it's one of those ways that they're really trying to kind of push the boundary and not look at things the traditional way. It's in our region here in St. Cloud, we only have one client that is set up in that roomie, where it's a mother and then it's her son who is the resident. So it's kind of a nice way where it's like, you know, I'm taking care of my son already, but I'm also feeling safe that it's me, and I'm getting you know, compensated for that. So it's a really good program. We are trying to promote it more and get it out in the community and get people, you know, understanding how it works. But yeah.
Well, thank you, Muna and Jennifer. I do have a question for you. If we've got a job seeker who has never done direct care before, but really thinks they have what it takes, what kind of training would you do with a real fresh newbie like that?
Oh, yeah, that's a really good question. So like I was saying earlier, we do have different level of homes. So somebody like that, obviously, you know, if they, and that's why when we do our interviews, we really kind of, you know, open it up and ask them, you know, some different questions, like, you know, have you ever, you know, were you a babysitter? Have you ever cared for a loved one, a sick loved one? You know, things like that, trying to understand their background. But in those situations, what we really like to do is, first of all, you know, give them that intensive training, you know, making sure that they understand what person-centered planning is, making sure they know what therapeutic, you know, providing therapeutic care is, but also then making sure that they start off at a very low needs house. So then they can get their feet wet and kind of learn, but also, you know, making sure that we do check-ins with those kind of employees, because we want to set them up for success. So putting somebody like that who's a newbie in like a crisis home, that's like a recipe for disaster. So you want to just get them into more high functioning, you know, independent residents. And then once they kind of get, you know, that 6-month mark where they're feeling a little comfortable, you know, gradually maybe a little lower behavior house, and then kind of move up from there.
Great. That sounds doable.
Yeah.
That's exciting. All right. Any other things that you guys want to tell us or think we should know about?
I think that's a really good question. And just to kind of circle back around, like, everybody needs that opportunity to be given to them. Like, nobody just kind of walks in here. We're like, hey, we've all been given an opportunity sometime in our life. So we do like to get those people that, you know, are very new in the field or never experienced in the field. And we like to train them and mentor them and show them that this field could be, it can have a really huge impact in your life, and the type of work you're doing, it's gonna impact these individuals we serve. So we love to get a lot of people that, you know, they've never worked in the field. We love that. We have a lot of students, like people that just graduated from high school, or, you know, freshmen at college, and we love to get them in and, you know, and train them and show them that, you know, these individuals we serve is, you know, we're trying to give them the best life they can live.
All right, and we do have one job seeker question for you. They want to know,
Okay.
how long does training last?
So our training process does take about 3 weeks. So you do, in the beginning, you do have to come in for like orientation, and we kind of go over like the vulnerable adult policy and talking about therapeutic care, things like that. And from there, you kind of do more of the theory part. So you're doing a lot of like modules and kind of really learning about what the job entails. And then once you get all of that, then you go and do what's called a shadowing. So you go out to the site, and like I said, depending on the level of the house, some houses we would do, our minimum is 2, but depending on the house, there are some houses that we will not put you in the schedule in like for 5, 6, maybe even 7 weeks. You know, just depending. So there is just depending on where you get placed. But typically it's about 3 weeks of training, and then you would get on your regular shift. And the training is paid.
Great. All right. Thank you, Muna and Jennifer. Looks like we will move right along here. Next up, we have Home Instead with Tracy.
Hi there, I'm Tracy with Home Instead. Just want to start out by telling you a little bit about Home Instead. Home Instead is a company where our mission is to help our seniors to remain in their homes for as long as possible. I don't know about you, but most people, I know I do. I want to stay at home. I don't want to move into a facility, but it's just becoming kind of the wave of the future, is most people want to stay at home. And so our mission is to help people that want to stay at home to stay at home with the care that they need. And so our caregivers drive out to the homes of our seniors and help them out with the things that they're struggling with or just can't do on their own anymore, and keep them safe, following a care plan. And so whatever tasks and cares are kind of outlined on that plan is what you would help with. Clients have a variety of needs and a variety of levels of care. As some of the previous employers were talking about, some clients may not need as much care and may not need it for as long. So maybe they only need us there for 5 hours versus a client that might need us for 24 hours, 365 days a year. So there is different levels of care that we provide. You can help them with, and all of our caregivers have to be able to provide all of the cares that we do provide for our clients. And there's different levels of training that you would go through in order to get to a point where, if you don't have the experience, then you would need to have certain trainings in order to get to a point where you can provide that heavier cares that we have for our clients. Some of the benefits to working at Home Instead is that we are here expressly to support you. That is the only reason that my job exists, is to support our caregivers. Right now, we are looking for a lead caregiver, as well as other caregivers in different areas of the region. Our lead caregiver has to be somebody that can be on call 3 to 5 days. So 3 days 1 week and 5 days the opposite week, to kind of a mandatory on-call position where we could utilize you in any home in the area that we work in. It is a position that's guaranteed hours, because again, in this in these industries, there isn't necessarily a guarantee of hours. It's just dependent on when you're available and when the clients have needs. So that position does come with a guarantee of hours, and usually you're working much more than the guaranteed hours are. A guarantee of 30 hours a week. But other things that we can offer to our caregivers is that ongoing professional caregiver training. We do CNA reimbursement. If a caregiver chooses that they want to grow more in their career and want to go out and get their CNA, we will reimburse after they've provided the certificate to us. We will reimburse monthly until we have paid them back for that. We have great office support. You can always call and get a person. We're here 24/7. And we do have some bonuses that we offer to our caregivers as well if they refer another caregiver who stays with us. We have some pretty good bonuses as well as a client referral bonus. Could I have the next slide? Home Instead also has, other benefits like the IRA, the 3% employer match, Verizon and Sprint, cell phone discounts. And we have a support line 24/7 that comes with unlimited counseling from professionals, and that's free to you, to any of our caregivers to use that. It's something that Home Instead has paid for, so unlimited counseling to use. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, that's pretty exciting, those Verizon and Sprint cell phone discounts. We had another employer with something like that. It's a nice little perk. Let's see. One question I have for you is about training again. When you first come into the job, maybe even backing up into the interview, how do you decide whether people are cut out for this direct care role?
Right. Well, we hire for heart and train for skill. And so what we're looking for is these behaviors of, actually, we have, our company culture is based on what we call love the verb, and love in action. Essentially, that comes with the 8 behaviors of love, which are patience, kindness, humility, selflessness, respectfulness, forgiveness, honesty, and commitment. And so my interview questions are geared to help me find individuals who have these qualities. And, we can always train for skill. We have the ability to do that. And so what we're looking for is someone who has the heart. And then it's just a matter of, if they have experience, how much training do they need? Although we have, of course, our orientation is the same, whether you have experience or not. The initial orientation is the same. But then after that, it's going to determine how much more training do they need as individuals to bring them up to a level where they're ready to deal with certain levels of care. Because some of our clients do need a little more care. They may have things like a catheter or a feeding tube or oxygen. And so we want our caregivers to feel comfortable, that they are confident in the home and are able to provide that care confidently.
Great, thank you. That's a very good, poignant thing there to study if you're a job seeker and you're looking to work at Home Instead. Tracy's just outlined those 8 qualities, and I'm sure they are on the website or out there somewhere. We always talk about job preparation and how to focus on those things that the interviewer will be looking for. So that is helpful. So we've got one job seeker question. They want to know, what is the pay like, Tracy?
Pay is based on experience, but our starting point is 13 an hour, and it goes up from there based on your experience. For individuals who come in with a CNA certificate that's current, we start at 15, and then it's a matter of how many hours they're willing to work, because we do hire people that are willing to work 20 hours or willing to work 40 hours. So we have both of those.
Thank you. Another question for you. What counties do you provide senior services for?
Well, our region is Our territory is actually quite large, and our owner owns the neighboring office in Andover, Minnesota as well. So we sometimes will share clients or caregivers across the border there. But for our individual office, we go out as far as Monticello and Malacca, Zimmerman, Princeton in the east. In the west, we are going out to Painesville, Sauk Center. In the south, Dassel, Litchfield, Cokato. And in the north, we go up as far as Royalton. You know, we will sometimes go a little bit outside of our territory if we can help somebody in that territory, if we're able to staff that if we have caregivers in that area, and we can staff that, we will help individuals outside of the territory as well.
Great. It's a big area. That's great. All right. Well, thank you, Tracy. We will move along to our next employer, who is Menzel with Justine.
Okay, I just unmuted myself. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. It's so odd because you know you can mute your phone and then also, anyways. Yes. So this is Justine, and I am with Main Soul Services. We support people with disabilities. We go into their home, so that's kind of what makes us a little different than some, not all, but some. We are not a group home. We go into their individual home and provide care to them there. We do that because we're very person-centered here at Main Soul. We really want to make sure that the person we're supporting lives their best life, makes their goals, gets to where they need to be, does the stuff that they want to do, and doesn't feel like that they can't do the things that they do in their life. And so when I do my phone interview with you guys, I do ask some questions about your personality and hobbies, just to make sure that who you're supporting is a good fit for you, and also that you're a good that you're a good fit for them. We don't want it to feel like a job. Half the people that work for us, probably more than that, think that it's, just coming in, building relationships, having a good time with the person that they're supporting, and kind of making a difference in that person's life. We like to say we hire exceptional workers to do extraordinary work. So let's talk a little bit about the recruitment process. So right now, through COVID, we've changed to doing a lot of stuff online and doing phone interviews instead of in-person interviews. So you would apply, as you can see on this slide, you can apply on our website, which is www.mainsoul.com, or you can find our job postings on Indeed. I list the website because the job postings on Indeed is a little bit more broad. You just type in direct support professional and then the location you're looking for, and then it'll come up somewhere in there. But if you go to our website, we have our online application, and I get that notification to my email, so then I would reach out to you. But then, once you apply, then we do a brief 10 to 15-minute phone interview with you, and we kind of get to know you, like I said, just a little bit, and then kind of find out what's your availability. We've got full-time, part-time, mornings, evenings, overnights. We have flexible schedules, working one-on-one with the people that we support. Our group settings are a little bit more there is a set schedule, but if you're looking for a flexible schedule, we definitely have that available in our one-on-ones. Those are usually just, you kind of make your shift. You pick a couple days a week, work a couple hours a day, and then you're good there. And so, just getting to know what's your availability, where are you looking for. We have over 40 locations across Minnesota. On this slide, you'll see just a couple listed to list some that aren't there, because you can read those. Ones that aren't listed there would be Monticello, St. Cloud, Big Lake. Sorry, I'm reading so I know which ones are on there. Elk River, Fridley, Brooklyn Park is on there, but that's a pretty big one. We've got a lot of positions there. And then Coon Rapids is on there, but we definitely have a lot of positions there as well that we're looking to hire right now. And then the positions that we hire for are direct support professional positions. That would be the majority of our positions. However, we do have some support coordinators, which is the lead staff of the home. You have a little bit more documentation you do as a support coordinator. You still do direct care. It's just you have some documentation to do on top of it. And then our program manager. We have one program manager position open right now, which is in Vadnais Heights, which is, if you don't know where that is, I believe it's sort of by St. Paul. And so you can apply for those, like I said, on our website. So yeah, I do the phone interview, and then after the phone interview, we'll talk about the positions and the schedules and where they are, and kind of get the best fit for you, see what makes the most sense for you, and we can talk about the cares that are at that location, can talk about what they like to do. We have two gentlemen at one of our Coon Rapids locations. You have to like tacos to work there, which I find so awesome because I love tacos myself. And so we'll talk about that, and then once we find a location, I would set up a secondary phone interview for you and the hiring manager. And in that phone interview, you would do a little bit more in-depth questions, and so there'd be some situations and scenario-based questions that they'd ask you just to kind of figure out how you'd handle certain situations and stuff like that. And then if that went well, then we would go in to do a site visit where you would go to the location you'd be working at, obviously wearing a mask and making sure that we're keeping the social distance requirements. And then if that site visit went well, then we would offer you the position and we would start the new hire paperwork and background check. It usually takes about, from initial phone interview to background study, it could take about, I mean, recently it's been very, very quick because we're just trying to get people in the door. We have a lot of positions open, and so we've streamlined a lot of our process and getting it to be pretty quick and easy and just filling out stuff online instead of having to meet in person. And so it's taken as little as a week to get people into the door, which is really great. The background studies come back quick enough, and we're not doing fingerprinting right now. We will eventually, but not right now, and so it's been pretty quick. So we're definitely looking to hire people with the heart and the passion for it. It's not, it's not just about the money. There's these people who really need us to help support them and help take care of them and make them feel as independent as they can while still achieving their goals that they have for themselves. And just real quick, because I know it'll be a question about the pay. So the pay for the direct support professional position, just flat, is $15, starting out at $15 an hour. And then, like some other people have touched on, some of our locations have certain behaviors and stuff like that, and so we do have a higher pay rate at that location. And so if that's the case at that location, I would tell you at that time when we're talking on the phone that there's that different pay rate. And that's all about Mainsail.
Great. Thank you. So just from a perspective of helping job seekers here at Career Force, I have a couple questions. We would typically tell people to apply specifically through the employer's website unless they're told differently, and that would be their number one choice. But a lot of people really like Indeed.com and use it quite a bit. So I see on your slide it says either or. Any special instructions? Like, I know Indeed has some tests that people can take, or anything that they need to know when they're applying through Indeed?
Yeah, and so I listed two because, like I said, Indeed, it's a little more broad. It's kind of hard to find Mainsail exactly, but we do have our postings on there. The difference between the two, Indeed, we don't have any of those assessments or anything like that. It would just be submitting a resume. I think it might ask you about a driver's license and if you have experience, but like you can see on the slide, none of that's required. It's just preferred, and so that's more for our knowledge base. I should touch on real quick, sorry, I forgot about that. The driver's license, it's required for positions that have driving for appointments. So those would be a lot of the morning, daytime shifts, because that's when people have their doctor's appointments or need to go grocery shopping and stuff like that. If you don't have a license, we have positions that can accommodate that, and so that's why it's not required but preferred, because a majority of our positions will require you to have that, but we do want you to know that we are flexible and have some positions that don't require that. But yeah, if you're more savvy with Indeed and want to just kind of apply through there, all we need is a resume, and then that comes to my personal email here at Mainsail, and then I'll get that and put you on our employee tracking system. There is no assessments, like I said. However, the caveat is eventually you will have to go onto our website and apply anyways, but at that time I can walk you through it, and so it's not a big deal, because there's definitely a lot more steps with the online application, asking you, yeah, it gets pretty, intense on there. So Indeed's a lot easier. You just submit a resume. So
sure, yeah. Well, that is good information to know. The other question I have, just to kind of help job seekers out there with interview preparation, is when they are preparing for these phone interviews, do you have any do's and don'ts that you've discovered, especially over COVID?
Do's and don'ts, that's good. I know it's always so hard to prepare for interviews because it's like, well, what are they going to ask me? You know, that cliche, where do you see yourself in 5 years? We don't ask that question. We're not looking at that yet. But kind of do's and don'ts. I mean, I would say just be yourself, you know, answer to your true ability. I know there's statistics out there that we always lie in interviews to make ourselves more appealing, and really here it means that we're not looking for the most attractive person on paper. We're looking for that person with the heart and soul and the compassion and empathy to do this work, to provide the cares for these people who need them. So I would say for sure be yourself, which obviously I would hope people are being, but I know sometimes it's hard. But be yourself in them, and I don't know if I think that's what I would just say, be yourself, and, you know, don't stretch the truth, because it's not, you know, you're going to have to show us your abilities eventually anyways, and so just making sure to keep it real and keep it 100.
Awesome. All right, we have one job seeker question for you. They want to know, do you pay for the background check?
Whoa. I'm going to say yes, because to my knowledge, we definitely don't ask the applicant to pay for that. So yes, we have through DocuSign is how we'll send you the background study. It'll come to your email, and then you just fill in all your personal information, and then once I get it back, I just have to verify it by looking at a picture of your ID, and then I send that off to my HR coordinator, and we send that off for processing.
Sounds simple enough. All right, thank you, Justine.
Yes,
we will
you.
move on to our last but not least employer, Ebenezer, and we'll have Jill kick it off for us. Oh, and Jill, you'll need to unmute yourself. It looks like I can't do it for you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Jill Kortenhoff. I'm with Ebenezer. I work in a workforce development specialist role, supporting our recruitment and talent acquisition departments. I also have Gwen Powers on the line, so she may chime in as well, and she is our sourcing specialist, so she works very closely with myself and our recruitment department. And so we'd like to share some information about Ebenezer and who we are, and a little bit about the positions we have in your area at our location there too. So Ebenezer has been around for 100 years. If you could go to the next slide, please. We are one of the largest senior living operators in Minnesota. And we have senior communities throughout all of Minnesota. We even have a few in Iowa and a new one in Wisconsin. We have skilled nursing facilities, transitional care, long-term care sites, and then and we have about 5 or 6 of those. And then we have numerous, over 30 different assisted living, memory care communities throughout Minnesota. And you know, we have been a part of Fairview since 1995. We're an affiliate of Fairview, and that's a big plus for our employees. There's some growth opportunities that one might take throughout Ebenezer, and then possibly into Fairview as well too, if they're looking to change or move locations, move jobs, whatever they would like to do. Our location that we have in your area is the Sanctuary of St. Cloud. We also have 3 other communities that are under the Sanctuary name, and one is in Brooklyn Center and the other is in West St. Paul. So we help manage this senior assisted living and memory care facility in St. Cloud. And just want to talk a little bit about who we are and what we have to offer, and then I'll talk a little bit more details about the roles that we have at our St. Cloud location, the Sanctuary. Ebenezer, you know, does have a mission we're driven to heal, discover, and educate for longer, healthier, meaningful lives. And we've lived by these values of dignity, integrity, service, compassion, and innovation for many years, along with Fairview as well too. So we all really have the same mission, vision, and values that we live by. Ebenezer does provide some great benefits, and I'd like to point this out for those who are maybe coming or considering to going into the healthcare field. There's a lot of opportunity to get benefits even if you're not working full time. So you can work 60 hours in 2 weeks and get our full benefits package. That includes medical and dental, a real generous paid time off package, retirement savings where we match some of the dollars that you put in there. We have some scholarship and CEU opportunities, so some ways for you to get some free dollars to help you with further education or coursework, certifications, conferences, those kind of things. And then we have a unique benefit. We can offer tuition reimbursement to our sanctuary employees for those who are in scheduled positions of 40 hours or more in 2 weeks. They do have a waiting period. Currently, that is a year. And then they're eligible to dip into that tuition reimbursement package. So that's a nice way of those who are going to school or want to go back to school. You can work part-time for us and get some help to help pay for some of that cost of college. Next slide, please. And a little bit about the Sanctuary of St. Cloud. So it's located near Highway 10 and 23. Our community, and we call them communities, our senior community consists of about 101 assisted living units and 36 memory care units. And this is one of our senior communities that offer the Dimensions program. It's a specific program for residents with memory loss. And it really is tailored as they go along the process and their degree of memory loss. It's tailored for them. And we run this program at many of our different locations. We have a Dimensions program manager that helps those run the program. So it's a really unique opportunity to be in a setting where we offer that. But I want to talk a little bit about the jobs that we do have at the Sanctuary of St. Cloud. Our first, and the ones you'll see most often, is our resident assistants. These are primary people that work in that role to support the residents. And you know, they're really what I like to consider kind of between a home health aide and nursing assistant, but we don't require them to have to be on the nursing assistant registry or to be a certified nursing assistant. But they will help with things such as bathing, dressing, maybe some feeding, hair care, toileting. They'll help with transfers and lifts as long as they have support and help with another employee. And then under the direction of the nurse, and after they've gone through some training that's provided by the company, they can help pass meds. They'll do the glucose monitoring, temperatures, blood pressure, and pulse. So they really get to do a lot with the patients under the direction of the nurse that's working there, and they may have a different title. It might be a support nurse, director of health services, but they do really get to do a lot. So if someone's really interested in hands-on patient care, this is the role for you. And we have a lot of opportunities that have a various amount of hours, part-time to full-time. So, you know, 30 to 40 hours in a week to 80 hours in 2 weeks. And we have some of those postings up right now. So it can be very flexible if someone is working possibly another job or is just wanting part-time hours or needs part-time hours because they're going to school. This could be a nice fit for you to look into. And we have various shifts, days, evenings, and nights. And I'll go into the pay in a little bit and talk about that. So resident assistants, that's our biggest need right now. We also have a couple culinary positions. We call them servers or culinary assistants. Those are the ones that are helping to serve the meals to the residents. They stock the kitchenettes within the community, so the food is there for the residents to eat when they want. And they help with the cleaning and the setup of the meal service. And then we also have a support chef position that's open right now. And they would be supporting the main chef there at the community there in St. Cloud. Other positions that we may have open from time to time include the activities assistant. So they are the person that would be working under the direction of the activities director and leading the activities, helping promote exercise, fun, just having general conversations. They may take them for an outing and they would be the ones that would help assist those residents as they go on an outing or a field trip. As well, we have our nursing staff. We have a fair amount of LPNs that we hire at the assisted living site, and then RN roles that, again, may have different titles, a support RN or director of health services. Some of the wages that I wanted to mention, the resident assistants, typically the minimum without experience is right around $14.70 an hour. The LPNs are right around $22, $23 an hour, RNs $29.30 an hour. Servers in the dietary aid or server culinary assistant role is right around $13.25 an hour. And then a cook is right around $16.17, I believe. Some of the positions, if you are required to work true evening or night shifts, then you might be eligible for a shift differential for those evenings or nights. Typically, we have annual performance reviews. Some other great things that we offer, we do have some initial system-wide training and orientation that all of our employees go through, no matter where you work. So you go through a first day of new employee orientation. And I know the resident assistants go through a med administration training that they take. So there are some very systematic trainings that we have for some of our roles, and that's worked really well throughout our Ebenezer locations throughout Minnesota. Let's see, and that, Gwen, do you have anything that you want to mention at all?
No, I think you pretty much covered it all.
Okay, thanks. Oh, I did want to mention, our biggest, I think this says a lot about our company. Not only have we been around for a long time, we're well established. We are on a growing path still. We are adding employees, adding different locations and managing different locations as well. But, a good majority of our employees are hired because they're referrals from current employees. So they're our own employees telling them great things about who we are and what we have to offer as an employer. So I think I want to share that with people that, when you look into it, I think you'll hear really good things about how we treat our employees, how we treat our residents, and who we are and who we have been to. So what kind of questions can I answer?
That is great to hear those testimonials from existing employees to referrals of new folks to work there. So of course, the average starting wage for resident assistant, I think you mentioned that.
Yeah, right around $14.75, and that's someone without any healthcare experience. So if you do have some experience, then we can base it off of that. So it would be a little bit higher than that for sure.
Great. And then how long does it take to start working about after an interview? I know that's always kind of a crazy time after you've done the interview, then you're waiting.
Yeah, I would, after interview, probably a week and a half, could be 2 weeks. Just depends on how quickly we can get your background check sent in and get you set up. We have to have you go through an employee health screen. So we have to get that done. And so depending on how available you are for an appointment or the new hire would be, that would, lengthen the time as needed too. So
great. And when you say health screen of course, it reminds me of quarantine and things like that. Is there anything differently that you do right now during COVID versus the health screen that you would have done before?
Yes, I believe they meet, and Gwen can chime in on this, I believe because they are in a location outside of the metro area, they do part of their health screen at St. Cloud at the sanctuary there. And then our employee health nurse would call and go over any immunization record questions that they have. So depending on what type of position they have, might lend to different immunizations that they need. And what was the other thing? We are doing our interviews via phone, both with the recruiter and the leader. currently. And as far as COVID, we have done our new employee orientation virtually, though we are hoping to get back to an in-person presentation soon. So we're waiting on that. And then we certainly are providing the necessary personal protective equipment for those coming into healthcare. You know, we have shields, gloves, masks, certain, you know, goggles as needed. If someone really would like to wear those, we'll work with them on that as well too.
Great.
And then this is Gwen. I also
yes,
want to mention as far as the COVID goes, we are randomly testing employees. So like once a week, just a sample of employees and residents get tested just to kind of keep the COVID rates down.
Yeah.
And Ebenezer has a much lower COVID rate than the other senior living communities within Minnesota.
Okay. We've got a job seeker that wonders, is it required to work during weekends?
Most of our resident assistant roles have a weekend rotation to them. So it's usually every other weekend. It may be a little bit less. The LPNs probably would have the same. I believe the chefs and the servers, culinary assistants also have a weekend rotation. Activities assistants may or may not. Gwen, do you have any more information about that?
Yep, all of the positions that we hire for do require every other weekend and holiday.
And is that all clearly laid out in your job postings?
It is.
All right, perfect. So a reminder to job seekers to look very closely at that and read carefully for each of those individual positions and their unique schedules. All right, it looks like we have one more question for you from the job seekers. What is the minimum pay?
Well, we have, depending on the position, that it changes. So resident assistants are about $14.75. LPNs are $22, $23 an hour. Activity assistants, I need to look at. I forgot to write that one down. I believe they're around $13, $14 an hour. Cooks are about $16, $17 an hour. Nurses, RNs are $29, $30 an hour.
All right, thank you to, oh,
and that
sorry,
can
go
change
ahead.
certainly. If someone has related or relevant experience, that those dollar amounts can go up.
Okay, great. All right, well, thank you both Jill and Gwen from Ebenezer. That's all the questions I see for right now. Looks like we're at 3:03 here. If anybody has any last minute questions, I know we do have a little bit of a delay here. So go ahead and chime in if you still have questions for some of our employers. And you can do that while I jabber here a little bit. So we have got our different programs here at Career Force that we want to make sure everybody is aware of, including our job seekers and our employers. We have many opportunities and services that we are still offering, although we may be closed to the public. We are here for you offering video chat and email and phone assistance. We've also partnered with Coursera. The Department of Employment and Economic Development has created this partnership to offer free career-focused online learning to Minnesotans. And this offers over 3,800 courses and training modules from top colleges and universities. And if you're looking for a way to really get some upgrades and training, this might be the answer, something that you can do at home. You can check out the catalog and see all the great resources available. So the way that you do that is go to careerforcemn.com/Coursera. And as you scroll down that page, you'll see there's a short form with about 4 or 5 things required. And then you send that and submit it. And once you've done that, then you will be contacted with the free link to get into Coursera. Now, if you go straight to Coursera, it is a paid service. So make sure you go through the careerforcemn.com registration form to make sure that you're getting in on this great partnership for free online courses. Now, for some of you job seekers out there, you may be hearing about our Dislocated Worker program. Anybody who has lost a job through no fault of their own is certainly encouraged to look into Dislocated Worker to see if they're eligible. You can give us an email here at CareerForce St. Cloud, or you can give us a call and be transferred to one of the eligibility specialists to talk to you about that program. Vocational Rehabilitation is also one of those services that if you have a documented disability, you might be eligible to work with one of our job counselors who can help you get on a path for your career and get you back to work sooner. So again, email us at CareerForce St. Cloud, or go ahead and give us a call and we'll transfer you to somebody in vocational rehabilitation. Those are a great way to get one-on-one assistance with retraining to get you back on your career path. All right, so for our veterans out there, thank you for your service first and foremost. We do appreciate you. We have staff who work specifically with you, the veteran, and they promote our veterans to the employers we assist and assist veterans in returning to work. Now, COVID has brought many changes in 2020, and one of them is our virtual services, virtual career fairs, virtual workshops, those sorts of things. You can find all of these options on careerforcemn.com. We have an entire section of virtual and interactive services with all of the recorded workshops and career fairs that we've done in the past several months. And so you can listen to them and watch them whenever is convenient for you. With all that said, we are still here for those one-on-ones, so we just want to make sure that you know you can give us a call or an email. We can always video chat with you. We do interview preparation, as I talked about today. We'll answer questions and help you with strategies on applications and resumes, give you some ideas for your cover letters. We can always do resume reviews or cover letter reviews via email. So feel free to reach out and we'll do our best to meet you wherever you feel most comfortable on the phone, email, or video chat. And of course, as always, there is the state's labor exchange, minnesotaworks.net. As you see on the screen, that is Minnesota all spelled out. Works is plural and .net. All of the jobs are always listed on there. There are free accounts for our job seekers and our employers. And the employers, when they first create accounts, are vetted, and they can post all of their postings out there and give you several different ways to contact them. So finally, we thank you for joining us today, and we also want to thank everybody out from the employer side and the job seeker side. And I'm just looking at the questions here. We've got somebody that says, what is the biggest mistake job seekers are making in applying for work? If any of our employers want to take a stab at that one.
This is Rihanna at Meduit. I can definitely answer to this one a little bit. I think one of the biggest things is that when I call people back, a lot of times they're not prepared. They're not sure, who is this? Where did I apply? I submit my application to so many places. So unfortunately, that's just kind of a little bit of a turnoff. So I have been a job seeker, and when I actually, you do that. You might throw your application out, but it might be good just to keep track of where you applied and when, and be sure to catch the name of the person calling or the company.
I would say that's a great idea. At first, I thought you were going to say they won't answer the phone because it's an unknown number. That's what a lot of us do, right? We wait for the voicemail. So if you're doing that, then great. But then you can get prepared before you call back. But yeah, like Rhiannon said, please, job seekers, try to carry your notebook with you or have your spreadsheet easily accessible, or just simply say, you know what, right now is not a great time. May I call you back in 5 minutes or something like that, if you're just caught off guard. Any others? Jill?
I guess I think I've got a couple in mind, but one of them as a previous recruiter would be once you are scheduled for an interview, whether it be in person or over the phone, just make sure that you have some privacy to have that interview. So go somewhere quiet. If you need to go into a room and lock the door, go outside. But don't try to multitask while you're doing a phone interview. You need to pay attention as best as you can to what the person is asking you, the interview questions. Write down some questions you might have for them, and then be okay asking those questions at the end too, or follow up with them if you have more questions about the role or the job. So just make sure to keep your time commitment. If you can't, let them know that time or date doesn't work anymore. Ask them to reschedule. And when you do pick up, just make sure you're focusing on that interview and giving your attention to the person who's asking you the questions.
Absolutely. Great pointers there, Jill. Thank you.
Hi, this is Gwen from Ebenezer. I want to add something to what Jill was saying. And I know a lot of other people said that kind of base the starting wage on experience. And so completely filling out the application with all of your experience, or having your updated resume uploaded into whatever the applicant tracking system is that the employer uses.
Okay, yeah, and this is Tracy with Home Instead, and I kind of wanted to piggyback on something that Jill said also about the interview. If you're doing it virtually, you also want to, you would dress the same as you would if you came into an interview physically. It doesn't make it any less an interview just because it's a virtual interview. So you want to keep that in mind. Another thing too is kind of vet the employer that you are applying to. So when you're applying to an employer, if there are things that just, sometimes people look at something and they say, oh, that sounds like a great job, I want to apply. But, carefully go over the qualifications and consider, if this job is really right for you at this particular company before applying.
Tracy, this is Kelly. So what I'm hearing you say is that pants are not optional?
Well, I probably can't see your pants. So you could probably get away with wearing sweatpants and I would never know, but.
There is something to be said about what Tracy was saying for the Zoom interview or something like that. Definitely pajama pants, no one knows, right? But a lot of things we don't think about is just like silencing our phone or our pet or our child, because you'd be surprised how many times you hear that, and that can be distracting. So you definitely want to be present. And I would say even for virtual, in person, just really dressing for success. I've just seen a lot of people come in and it just really baffles me. Like, you know, just stuff that if you have to question it or if it's too casual, like flip-flops, sweatpants in an in-person interview, I would probably say no. I would try to dress up. Another thing too would be to know a little bit about the company that you're applying for in the position. I've been asked, who are you? What do you do? What do you do there? What position? So just knowing those things are really important and shows that you care and that you're really interested in the position.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Is there anybody else that wants to put in some 2 cents?
This is Crystal from Catholic Charities. I would say, and this piggybacks off of what others have said, but in that application process, making sure that you're taking the time to update your resume or write your resume to that position that you're applying for. I think one of the hardest things as a recruiter is when you get such a general resume sent to you that you're not even sure, you question what position they're even applying to. That can be really hard. So taking that time to really tweak it so that it's really showing that experience that you have, that you're bringing to that job that you want. And taking the time to go through your employment history and list everything that's really relevant to that position.
Great pointers once again. So as we said earlier, you will get a copy of the slides from today, as well as the contact information for folks and a copy of the recording of what we've talked about here today, so you can play back some of these great tips from the employers. And again, if you go to careerforcemn.com and go to the virtual and interactive services section, you will see hours and hours of recordings on how to get organized within your job search, how to make sure you are filling out those applications completely and you're really targeting those resumes and you're really preparing for the interview. So I am so glad to hear all that reinforcement and reassurance on exactly what we are teaching and encouraging job seekers to do here today. So thank you once again to everybody, and we will see you tomorrow with 2 more events. Everyone take care and have a great day. Thanks for attending.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.